got a lot to talk about today, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Yeah, what we're looking at today is a great sighting from Poland, where there's 3 objects in the sky at the same time, some sort of formation or fleet or something, that are going over these fields. Are they on the way to somewhere? Are they doing something in these fields? Could they be man-made? Are they NHI? What are these things? Either way, a great daytime capture of what seems to me to be very anomalous objects. Can't explain them by conventional means. There's no exhaust coming out of them. They're going super fast. They look a lot like the Beaver, Utah UFOs, a lot like the Tic Tacs. The Beaver, Utah, Tic Tac type UFO was really interesting because although I call it a Tic Tac, it was kind of noodly, kind of bendy. And these, to me kind of look like they're doing some of the same kinds of things. Maybe not rigid fixed craft. But anyway, great capture. I don't know what these guys are doing, what they're up to, but let me know your theories in the comments below. Meanwhile, Brandon Fugal gave a great interview with Jesse Michaels where he talked about a range of interesting things, hitchhiker effect, all sorts of stuff, UFOs buried in the mesa. But one thing that really intrigues me is the idea that Filippo Biondi's, SAR type technology, that was used to image the second Sphinx, if that exists, as well as the Giza megastructure, this proprietary technology that he developed, might be used to see what's actually under Skinwalker Ranch. I'm really intrigued about that. I was really excited for this latest season when they were going to actually start digging on the mesa. I was hoping they were just going to rip that sucker up and we were going to see what was underneath. But of course, they didn't do that. But maybe we'll actually get to see what's under there if this technology can be brought to bear. So here's Brandon.
Well, you've seen these Italian scientists have advanced new evidence.
I've had them on. Yeah.
We have measured approximately over 1 kilometer of depth. So the base of the pyramid to something that is located at the bottom.
So 8 pillars, in this shape of an energy grid. Yeah, beyond it, they've used synthetic aperture radar, Doppler tomography, and this kind of specific inversion method that he's, the software.
We're quite familiar with it.
Oh, there you go. Interesting. Okay.
Maybe they'll come out to Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh, that would be...
Wouldn't it be funny if they were involved with our effort in applying their technology to help us understand the nature of the landscape?
I love it.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
Wouldn't that be interesting? All right. Well,
I love Brandon giving us some hints there, playing a little coy, making some jokes. It looks like Filippo Biondi is getting involved in Skinwalker Ranch. Does this mean we're going to have to wait until next season to see that play out? Or is that something that's going on right now that we will get to see outside of the series itself? I hope that's the case. I really want to know what's under there. Of course, it wouldn't surprise me if we would have to wait a year for the next season to see the results of that, but we'll see how it goes. Either way, I am super excited about Filippo Biondi's, findings of the second Sphinx. And they are hopefully going to start digging on that sucker soon. They've already started digging up the Hawara labyrinth, so why not the Sphinx, right? And it looks like there is some progress going on there. If that thing can be found, then I think that we have found proof of Atlantis. Not because the Atlanteans necessarily built the second Sphinx or the first Sphinx, but because that technology that imaged that discovered the second Sphinx, was also used to image the Giza megastructure to discover the Giza megastructure. So if the second Sphinx can be found, that means the Giza megastructure almost certainly exists, and that was not built by the ancient Egyptians that we all know and love. That was built by somebody else. That thing goes a kilometer or more underground. There's massive chambers. Nobody thinks that was built by the ancient Egyptians based on what we know of them. That was built by Atlanteans, or name whatever lost civilization you prefer. The Lemurians, the Urians, whatever. Or maybe even the beings themselves. Who knows? But in my mind, that the second Sphinx can be discovered, and hopefully that will happen pretty soon, maybe even in time for Chris Bledsoe's prophecy, then that means Atlantis is real. But yeah, Brandon goes on to talk about how GPS does not work on Skinwalker Ranch.
Space. We've seen time act and behave differently on the ranch.
It's almost, that's really, dude, to say more about that.
Yeah. Well, GPS, I'll give you one major highlight that has been repeatable. And we have an abundance of data supporting GPS malfunctions and is manipulated on Skinwalker Ranch. It just does not operate. Imagine.
And GPS is sort of based on, you know, relativity and, you know,
and
time.
And how billions of dollars worth of space assets, satellites coordinated with our instrumentation on the ground. Just imagine, I mean, how much of our world today, even me coming here to this studio, was dependent on the accuracy and the reliability. Well,
but it's also based on triangulating signals based on time.
Correct.
So that's why I'm like, oh, yeah, I wonder if there's some time manipulation involved in the GPS failure.
Yeah, well, there was actually one experiment done on Skinwalker Ranch a couple of seasons ago, or maybe 3 seasons ago, where they actually were able to measure some time manipulation that happened. They were actually able to get this on their instruments. The phenomenon, if you're, you know, a researcher of the phenomenon, you will have probably come across this if you've researched it enough, that there is some timey-wimey stuff that goes on with the phenomenon, even to the point where they seem to be able to go outside of our reality, outside of the time-space continuum. They are other dimensional beings, or at least able to transit through other dimensional spaces, dimensions beyond the ones that we live in. And, you know, going outside of the stream of time. Whitley Strieber even calls them fishers in the stream of time, because they exist out there and they pop into the stream and pluck out a fish and take the fish sometimes out there and then plop it back in. But yeah, the fact that they were able to clock that at Skinwalker Ranch and measure this time manipulation is amazing. The stuff they've been able to find at Skinwalker Ranch on the show is really incredible. I'm so grateful to the show. I mean, thanks to the show, we have that amazing video of a UFO going into the mesa in broad daylight and out the other side. A truly transmedium object that went seemingly right through the mesa itself, and so much other crazy stuff. You know, they are able to apply a lot of science to trying to understand the anomalies there. This weird energy bubble or sphere over the triangle, and doing all sorts of tests to measure it and get, you know, precise, you know, accounts of it and what it does and where. It's just amazing. So I'm really grateful to Brandon and Travis and Eric Bard and the rest of the team there. They're doing great work. Can't wait to see where this goes. Okay, but this part was crazy.
The ranch appears to amplify consciousness.
Right.
Amplify intent.
What does that mean?
Heighten your senses. I think it amplifies intent. I mean, those who bring positive have at times said that they felt very positive things happen. Those who bring negative activity or a negative adversarial attitude end up having that visited upon them or that amplified on the property.
That's what they call psychedelics, non-specific amplifiers. Yeah. What's an example of a positive thing?
Oh, we've had some. I mean, you know, one of our most controversial figures on the ranch is, of course, my head of security for years, Dragon.
Yes.
Bryant Dragon Arnold. Dragon, who lost his father and missed his dad, who was his mentor, I think he's had experiences on the property where he's felt his father's presence, where he's felt that in a positive way.
Well, that's amazing. I hadn't heard that before. So it's good to know that the ranch does have positive elements. You rarely get to hear about the positive stuff involving Skinwalker Ranch. But yeah, there are places in the world that seem like they are beacons of energy or something, where things are heightened there. Things are possible there that are not possible elsewhere. Unless, like Jesse says, you're on psychedelics, which are non-localized centers of this activity. You can access the phenomenon in a different way. But yeah, there are places that you can go. I've been to some of these places on ghost hunts. I had a really negative event happen to me at one particular place, and I've talked about that before. And I'm aware of very positive places. I think I've been to some of those. I've had very positive experiences there anyway. And you know, there's the one story that my Reiki instructor told me, where she was driving down the road, and she's a very, you know, I want to say enlightened person, which is going to sound woo woo to some, but hey, you know, it is what it is. She's pretty cool. But she was driving down the road, like in New Mexico or somewhere, and she felt this call toward this certain church that she saw, this random church. And she got off the road and went over to that church, and she could feel all this energy in this particular random church. And she's not particularly religious. And she went inside this church, and this energy hit her, and she had a Kundalini awakening, just this amazing event. I was lucky enough to have one, an incredible event. But she has had 6 Kundalini awakenings. Incredible stuff. And I've seen her abilities firsthand. She is the real deal. But she was drawn toward this one particular location where there was a lot of energy, for whatever reason, very positive energy. And there's places, like I say, that are probably very negative. And apparently Skinwalker Ranch, where I have always only heard negative stories, is actually mixed. And you can have positive experiences there too. It's good to know. But what about the black helicopters? And do they have any sort of relationship with the phenomenon?
One of the most fascinating things that you guys often see or sometimes see are orbs accompanied by these unmarked black helicopters. And it's like almost like there's some coordination going on between humans and the beings or the non-human intelligence. Like they're kind of, you know, moving in conjunction with each other.
Maybe.
I love how non-committal Brandon is to that. And I agree with him as far as that goes. At least on Skinwalker Ranch, I don't really see a coordination between the black helicopters and the phenomenon. However, the black helicopters, the UFO control group, is definitely aware of what the hell is going on the ranch. And they will send helicopters immediately upon certain events. Now, there's a whole lot of events on Skinwalker Ranch, and they only send the helicopters for certain things. So I don't know why that is, what those specific events had that triggered the helicopters to come out. If you've got any clue what that is, I would love to hear your theories on that. But yeah, there's repeated examples of black helicopters over Skinwalker Ranch immediately following a UFO event. There's other examples of, you know, a mysterious plane doing some sort of surveillance or multiple planes doing surveillance over Skinwalker Ranch. Really weird stuff. The government is very interested in Skinwalker Ranch. Obviously, OSAP studied Skinwalker Ranch for years, but there does seem to be another party, a third party that is interested in Skinwalker Ranch for whatever reason and keeping their eyes on it, possibly even having something to do with what's going on there. There's rumors of underground, you know, tunnels and labs and, you know, all sorts of stories like that. Could there be a dome nearby or even under Skinwalker Ranch, something like that? I'd love to know. I know you guys would too, but it was a great question from Jesse. All in all, a terrific interview. I'm not going to go beat by beat through the whole interview, but I did want to bring you some of the highlights that I thought were really great from the interview, and they're really thought-provoking. So I'll link to the whole interview in the description below. Go check it out. Let me know what you think about it. Have you seen the full interview? Do you watch the Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch? Are you up on the show, or what are your general impressions of Skinwalker Ranch? Let me know what you think about it all in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. Love to see you guys there. If you want to support the channel in a bigger way, grab a t-shirt or a coffee mug. Become a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate your support. Also, I've started a new YouTube channel where I'm making movies. I've always wanted to make movies. I'm a fantasy and science fiction writer with a film degree. I've always wanted to make visual storytelling movies. So I did. Now with modern technology, I am able to create movies. So go check out Fantastic Adventures Studio and go watch my lost reel for King Kong, 1933. King Kong versus the Reptile God. That's right. So go check out the link to that below and let me know what you think about everything else. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road signing out.